Alright, guys, welcome back. We are watching Sousou no Frieren Season 1, Episode 15. Last time, we almost died in a carriage explosion, falling. All of that happened. It was Frien's birthday. Stark bought her the fancy bracelet with the eternal love on it, essentially. Very good scene at the end there with Himmel and Frieren and the whole of the ring, you know. Yeah, very nice, very meaningful. It really sucks that Himmel's dead. What are we gonna do, I guess, you know? It's really cool how we keep ramping up this whole Himmel Frieren relationship. And then you always remember, oh yeah, Himmel's dead. So rough. At least Stark and Fern are both still alive, right? Maybe that's good enough. Uh anyway, I guess we're watching episode 15. I'm curious what this one's gonna be about. It's really returned to like this episodic nature, so I'm down for that. So hey, we're starting episode 15. You can line your own copy up with this if you want to. We are starting in 3, 2, 1. A journey that was too long. So if I'm not mistaken now, from this opening, there's only one character we haven't seen yet, right? Which is the lady at the very end, right? We've really been caught up on everything else. Man, this opening's a classic there. I'm surprised we haven't seen Frieren run into a mimic, like, at all, right? It was in, like, a montage once, and that's all we got. They've been keeping that gag on the back seat. They're waiting, though. I know it's gonna happen. It has to happen eventually. There she is, elf lady. And she doesn't look too nice based off that, but I guess we'll see. Smells Like Trouble, Episode 15. 29 years after the death of Himmel the Hero in the Lob Lands, located in the Northern Lands. Sleepy. Whoa. Long time. Mm-hmm. Already been a year. What? What are we lacking? We got a warrior. We got a mage. We got two mages, really. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We need an archer. A thief. Oh, dead, literally. True, true. What? What? He's gonna say something stupid. I said, like, I was gonna say, like, I knew it was gonna be that. I just didn't. It's like, yeah. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, she doesn't count. She doesn't count. It's breaking the party apart that we don't have that. Yeah, maybe we'll find an old lady there. Yeah. Oh, what is going on here? Some kind of I hope they're not dead. Yeah. They're all passed out. I would say it's some kind of like gas or something, but I doubt it's that. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. A curse. Okay. Okay. Interesting. I wonder what separates curses from like normal magic. Like, how do you? I don't know. I don't know. Huh? Yeah. I guess it's just its own category of thing. Sure. Ah. Okay. So there is like a fundamental difference between that kind of magic and like the magic Frieren has. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Okay. That's. It seems like some pretty good evidence that the goddess exists, if that's really where it comes from, right? But who knows, I suppose. Interesting. Blessing of the goddess. I don't know what Himmel's blessing was like. I'm not Himmel. Heiter. Okay, okay. Calm down. Okay, okay. Some kind of strange. Yeah, interesting. And that lifts it from everyone? Okay, okay. Stark's dead. It's over. Is he really being affected by it? Really? Or is he trolling us? Oh God. Okay. No Stark, I guess. Man. Jesus. Okay. That is. Oh man. That really raises the stakes, huh? Sure. If we take him far away from the where the curse is affecting it, does it not? It doesn't wear off or anything. God, she was already tired before. Oh God. Oh no. Or is she just tired? Oh no. I literally don't know if she's being affected by the curse or if she's just really tired because she was almost falling asleep earlier. But maybe that actually could have been from the curse and they were just approaching the village, you know? Who knows? Oh God. Oh no. Oh no. Oh fuck. What? Oh God, this is bad. Oh no. I bet Stark could do something with 5 seconds. Oh man. Okay. I guess that's a nice thing about being a priest, right? You can learn normal magic too. You just also have this affinity for the priest magic, right? Oh God. Oh, hi there, flower thing. Chaos flower. It has the void inside of it. Oh, oh God. Can we really handle this alone? Okay. Oh. Okay, okay. Three spears of the goddess. So I guess there's priest magic that is offensive too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, but it did not work at all. It like reflected it. Yeah. Well, you said it's like a mirror, right? I wonder. Oh man. All right. Yeah. Yeah, you could try. Sure, true. That's why I was saying we should wake up Stark, but oh well, too late now. Yeah, sure. Interesting. Mm-hmm. Oh, right, yeah. Okay, okay. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay. Trust her, I guess. I guess that's it, right? Just trust her. That's an interesting that is an interesting question. The difference between understanding and trust, you know? Okay. We got 5 seconds. Oh man. Oh, okay. Nice. That was easy, huh? Did she even need the call out or did she just know? Man, impressive, huh? That trust paid off, I suppose. Finally. Yeah, they just wake up in the middle of the woods alone. Oh, yes, you did. Come on. Oh god, it's the older lady he wants. Very. She's very experienced, to be fair. Yeah, yeah. Perfect. Uh-huh, uh-huh. It's days later, he still talks about it. The rig. We're getting there. Well, it took 10 years the first time, so. Oh, we gotta get some money, huh? How do we even get it? Hi there, you look ominous. What? Do they recognize him? Oh, okay. They want him. No. No, thank you. Think we're good. Think we're good on that. And we went? I guess. Okay. Hmm. Lord Orden. I'm sure she knew your father or something. Or grandfather. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's just that's whoa. Okay, we need money. We need money. But what's the request? But what's the request? We have 6 pennies. Yeah, Frieren doesn't even know what the currency looks like anymore. Well, what do you want with Stark exactly? A little bit worried about that, right? Ah, yeah, I was gonna say the red hair looks kind of similar. Oh, yeah, no kidding. Looks a lot like Strike's brother. Mm-hmm. Really? You want him to pretend? Ah, and what, that isn't like public yet? Or okay, why are we keeping it a secret? Okay, okay. Ah, okay, okay. I don't know if that's a good approach, you know? I guess I understand for political reasons. Um, I don't know how much that is. Whoa. Yeah, throw in a grimoire, of course. That's what really matters. Sure, true. Yeah, I guess they could just say the scar is from that. That's interesting though. Lying about what the scar is interesting. I don't know if Stark wants to do that, you know? No, this whole thing is very interesting, honestly. Like Stark having to pretend to be someone else. I think is interesting with like his struggle in the first place, you know? Hmm. I think it's no surprise that he's not down with it, you know? Oh god, he has to learn how to read. Terrible. Yeah, you guys are putting him through the ringer. Oh, beautiful. It doesn't. It doesn't. Hmm. So this whole thing is very interesting. I don't know what to think about it. Okay, don't do that. Like that's what I mean, right? I wonder if there's some kind of emotional reason for it, really, beyond just this political reason. But hmm. Okay. Is that true? I wonder. Okay. Okay. Because it's interesting. It's like it's making such a show out of his death in a way, you know? It's sad. Sad for him, probably. The fact that he can't grieve the death of his son, really. Yeah, yeah. He doesn't use swords normally. Wonder if he's good at it. Been a while. Oh, I guess he did in the village, right? All back that time ago. That's probably why he doesn't use one anymore, right? Swords represent a lot, I think. And is that it? Okay, okay. Sure, sure. I see, yeah. Okay, okay. Ooh, I wonder. Maybe. Kind of the opposite of Stark's problem, huh? No, you can keep eating donuts with both hands. It's fine. Oh, sure. Stark and Fur would have to go together. She doesn't know etiquette. Yeah. So pretty. She'll be good at it, I'm sure. Yeah, no donuts. Not like that. You gotta eat your donuts with a fork and knife, probably. God, we gotta learn how to dance. How did that even happen? Ooh, how fancy. How fancy. Oh man, she is all dressed up. It's been more than a month for him. Oh, perfect. Might as well. You had to learn etiquette too, so come on. It didn't come natural to either of you. Nervous about the other people watching, I guess? I think it's nice how she always keeps the hair thing in that Frieren gave her, even now, you know? I guess it is. I mean, it fits. It's very fancy. Hmm. Must be bittersweet for him in a way, right? Very impressive. Nice hair, Frieren. She's enjoying it. She's enjoying it. Ah, yeah, yeah. This is all probably somewhat torturous for him going through all of this, you know. Seeing him, oh, looks so much like his father. Yeah, for both of them, this is actually very interesting, right? Yeah, yeah. Sadly. Mm-hmm. Wonder if they're all dead. Oh, makes it even worse. Oh God. And it's like now he's faced with his face again, you know? Yeah, yeah. Regret. Same kind of regret that changed Frieren so much. Exactly. Yeah, it's like you have to be able to uh sure, right. Yeah, exactly. That was his whole thing when we started, right? Yeah, 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 yeah. No, that's very nice that he thinks of Eisen like that rather than his father, I guess, if you even want to call him that, right? She has to read every single one. Got to make sure she picks the right one. He's probably formed a connection to this place somewhat. Yeah, sure, exactly. Yeah, yeah. that one. Oh, that's the end. No spoilers, no spoilers. Okay, that was a good episode, huh? All right, we will talk about it in the discussion. Okay, let's talk about the episode. Surprisingly, somehow, what a shock, Frieren has done it yet again, and this was a good episode. I know, that's a real difference for this show. Normally, there's never been any good episodes before. It's not like I say that at the beginning of every single discussion. But yeah, man, a good episode. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? 29 years after the death of Himmel the Hero in the Lob Hills, located in the Northern Lands. Wonder what Lob means. Surely it means something. You know what? I'm going to look it up. We're going to Google Translate. We're pulling it out. We're pulling it out. It's got to mean something, right? I'm sure. I bet it just means something inconsequential. Leaves. It means leaves. I suppose. I suppose that makes sense. Are there that many leaves even in this shot? I guess you could say there are. Like, I suppose, right? I guess. Anyway, we are arriving here at the Cursed Village, of course. Sign asks us how long we've been traveling together. It's been a while. Been 4 years. It's interesting how Frieren has to think. Because, of course, I mean, she has her weird thing about time. But, like, I don't buy it. So, Fern knows, of course. It's been, I guess their journey started 4 years ago. How long ago was it that Frieren met Fern? That was 9 years ago, right? Because that was 20 years after the death of Himmel, right? So it's been 9 years. Yeah. So I guess then Fern would have been like 8, 9 years old then, right? Yeah. Had Frieren for just about a whole life. It's been about a year for Stark. Sounds about right. What episode did we meet Stark again? I'm trying to think. I mean, it's been a while by now, right? I think it was like it was before episode 10, right? Yeah, it was definitely well before episode 10. It was like 7 or something, right? We've had Stark for a while, but yeah, it's been a year. I don't know. Something this party lacks, and we talk about, we have a frontliner, we have a mage, we have a priest, and what we're lacking is an older woman. Um, I, I don't know if I should try to analyze this at all. If there is like an older lady, is there any kind of meaning I can take from the idea that most parties need to have a sexy older lady? Maybe if I if I really reached for it, maybe there's some kind of deeper meaning I could unearth from the idea of having a sexy older lady in the party. Um, I guess I mean, unironically, the obvious thing, of course, which I guess is just kind of the whole joke about this, is that Frieren, despite her age, doesn't count as an older lady, right? I guess that's just the only deeper thing you can say, right? And the reason, of course, she doesn't count as an older lady, obviously she looks young, but it's also like she has a lot of like emotional maturing to still go through, right? So I sure like that. I guess this shows that this kind of makes that clear. I I I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't analyze that too much. He's so distraught. It's so over for him. So over for him. So we arrive at the next village. We don't get the name of this village, do we? But it is the next village. I'm going to look up the name of the next village too. Maybe it means something. I'm sure it does. But they have been cursed. They have all been cursed and they are asleep. We talk about the oh, there's there's the lady that at the end Sign is real happy about. They've been cursed, and we talk about the difference between human magic. I guess it's not. I mean, I guess they're both human magic, but I guess just the kind of magic that Frieren and Fern use, that mages use, and the kind of magic that priests have, which comes from the goddess, which is interesting. Um, of course, it makes sense. Like in stories like this, or like I mean, not even in stories like this. It's kind of like an RPG like trope, right? The idea that the healing class, like a priest, is always, I mean, they're called the priest for a reason, right? They're always related to like religious stuff and like spiritualism, that kind of thing, right? And with the function that the goddess and this kind of like vague spiritual religious, it hasn't really been like explicit, but that's certainly a factor in the universe, right? Um, the function that has served has been essentially kind of like this emotionally healing and like I don't know, just kind of nice idea. The idea of the goddess being out there, and like what that could mean for the characters, for Frieren, stuff like that. So I don't know. It makes sense, obviously, in that way that the healing magic and all of that is directly related to the goddess, right? Of course, I mean that is such a like obvious trope and cliche, right? I guess it's not really a cliche; it's just such an obvious connection to make, right? That the this idea of religious spiritualism, that kind of thing, is like healing, so it's the healing magic, right? But I don't know. It's I don't know. It's cool. It's cool. So curses are a unique category of spell cast by demons or monsters. I guess demons just are monsters, right? That put people to sleep or turn them to stone. So it's, I guess I could just imagine like they probably do a variety of things, but it's like this subsection of magic that they essentially haven't unraveled, I guess. I assume it's just if it's in this category of things that they haven't unraveled in this way, then it's a curse. Humanity's magic can't explain the principles behind them or how to remove them. Hmm. The magic of the goddess which priests use is a different story. So I talked about this before, about how, like, I'm surprised Frieren doesn't learn this goddess magic, but I guess it is just its own entirely separate category, right? I assume the magic that Ferd and Frieren use and the magic of the goddess that priests use is just a completely different thing, right? I wonder if it even uses mana, if it's just a completely different thing. Hmm. The magic of the goddess is recorded in holy scriptures and can only be used by the owners of said scriptures. Like the demon's magic, we don't understand the principles behind most of it, so it's not very interesting. If you say so. It seems interesting to me because this seems like some pretty convincing, clear evidence that the goddess is probably out there, right? The only thing about this, right, is they could be misattributing the way this magic works, right? I guess we don't really have like a full understanding of it, right? But who knows, right? Because what I'm trying to say is, if this magic comes directly from the goddess and it's like these scriptures that reveal it to you, and then you can use magic, that seems like pretty clear evidence that the goddess really is out there, right? And that was kind of in question before, right? Like Frieren talked about how, just like some vague doubt about the idea of the goddess existing at all. And even if the goddess does exist, we talked about this before, in that episode when they like stayed in the snow cabin and all of that, right? About this idea that it's like, yeah, the goddess represents this idea of an afterlife and like a place you can go and be happy at the end of your life, right? And it gives people so much like motivation and stuff like that to, like, I don't know, something to look forward to, an idea of something that rewards them for their hard work, right? That's really the words that we used. And I guess the idea in the story has been, well, that's great and all, but you can also, reward people for their hard work while they're still on the planet when they haven't died yet, right? That's kind of the idea. That's even more meaningful for a character like Frieren, who for her death is such a far off concept. If the reward for her hard work she'll get will be for the goddess a million years from now when she dies, well, she wouldn't be very happy with that, right? So yeah, that's kind of the idea, is that through your relationships with other people, that can be just as meaningful as what people think they're going to get from the goddess, right? But I'm just saying, this magic existing certainly seems like it means, oh, the goddess like definitely exists, then, right? Um, they could be misattributing the source. It could be we just don't have the details. We don't have the details. Who knows how it works, right? But I'm just saying, you would think this would just mean belief in the goddess would just be like a done deal, right? It's difficult to use unless you're born with a specific knack for it, which also bestows an increased resistance to curses. I believe they call it the blessing of the goddess. Now, I want to think that this idea of this blessing, like, means something, right? That it can be, we could think of it as some kind of analogy for some kind of trait or some kind of characteristic that these people who have the blessing of the goddess have, that is like represented through that, right? Something that Sign has. Like, for example, Sign is the most grown up of all of them in the party. He is kind of, in a way, the most put together person, right? All of this. Heiter was very wise and was very, he we talked about that with that flashback scene we got. Was that last episode, 2 episodes ago? With him being like a put together adult as well, and all of that, right? And he had a different take on it, right? Saying that he hasn't really changed inside and all of that. But I want to say that there's like a characteristic like that. It's like we could say is this idea of having a knack for it. Something you were born with, a specific knack you have for it. Blessing of the goddess. I don't want to compare it to being something you were born with, because then that's because then what if I'm comparing it to some specific characteristic that like Sign has or these other people have, it surely wouldn't be something you were born with, right? I don't know. It'd probably be really hard to figure it out, but I hope you understand what I mean. That I feel like this would be there's got to be something there, right? Something you can compare this to. I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure yet. Mages can't detect curses. I can sense I'm being attacked in some way, so I know this village is still under the effects of the curse. And Stark freaks out about the curse. I really thought he was like throwing a fit, but then he actually just gets affected by it immediately and falls asleep. So, God. Yeah. Hmm. And Sign can only wake us for 5 seconds, of course. So we walk through the woods, we gotta go find the monster. Nice little montage. Fern's real sleepy. She falls asleep. I really wonder. I think it would be very funny. I thought this is where we were going to go with it. I thought it was going to be really funny if Fern wasn't actually being affected by it, and she was just really tired. Because in the opening scene, she was like falling asleep on the carriage. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe, maybe. We hide them in their bubble, and off we go. And then Frieren promises she'll defeat it, and she falls asleep too, unfortunately. So Sign goes off to fight it. I think this is actually pretty interesting and pretty meaningful for Sign here. Him learning to just, like, trust another person like this. Because, again, it's like, his entire thing from the episode we met him in was, in a sense, kind of based in not being able to trust other people, right? In, like, a weird sense, right? Like, he never left his village because he thought that he would, like, ruin his brother's sacrifice for him. He thought his brother essentially sacrificed his chance to go to the capital and be an awesome priest and all of this, just so that Sign himself could stay in the village, right? So then Sign felt, oh, I can never leave the village because then I'm ruining what my brother did for me, right? I think you can imagine, in a way, you can say that is like a lack of trust, right? It's not like he's not trusting his brother enough, like his intentions and like the way he would react to him wanting to leave, right? Like that kind of thing, right? It does show like some kind of like deeper insecurity he has about like his relationship with his brother and like how he would take things, that kind of thing, right? Which again, like it's such like kind of like a non-issue because obviously it came from a place of well-being for Sign or well-meaning for Sign. It wasn't at all like a I think what he did is very understandable, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But it's interesting in this way. I feel like we still are almost tackling even that small issue, through what happens here with Frieren, right? He is unable to defeat the Chaos Flower by himself. It is reflective skin. He has to shoot the core. He doesn't want to wake Frieren because if she shoots it and it deflects off, it could fucking kill everyone, right? So it's interesting. We talk here about this difference or I guess maybe we don't. I just think of it. We think of this difference between mutual understanding, establishing a mutual understanding, and the idea of trusting another, right? Um, and I guess the question is like, what's the difference between those things? What is the difference between understanding someone and trusting them, right? I mean, obviously there's a difference, right? It's hard to put into words what that means, right? Like, if you understand another person, then it's like what? It's like you feel like you can predict their actions, that you feel like you have like clear communication in a way that's like you truly understand like how to communicate with them. You think they understand how to communicate with you, right? Like a mutual understanding like that. And it's like you don't worry about like some kind of issue in that way, right? Yeah, mutual understanding, I guess. So then what would we say trust like is then, right? Like in a sense, the lack of complete understanding of another person and then trusting them anyway, that is trust, right? You know what I mean? Like that lack of mutual understanding, but still believing in them is essentially trust, I suppose, right? Like, I don't know, would you say that trust is like higher on the ladder than understanding? I suppose not. Maybe you would say trust is just something that's easier to achieve the more you understand another person, right? Frieren is difficult to understand, right? Frieren is a very difficult person to understand. She doesn't make herself well understood. So in that sense, her being difficult to trust that makes sense, right? Um, I don't know. It's very interesting, right? At the same time, I think you could say something interesting with it with Sign and his brother as well. This kind of understanding. Well, it's like he understood his brother's feelings. I think he understood why his brother did what he did for him to stay in the village. All of this, right? What I guess he didn't understand that below that, what his brother really wanted was just for him to be happy. So he could have left the village way long ago if it would have made him happy, right? And his brother would have been fine with that, right? So maybe that's where you could say there's this issue of trust, where it's like he's unable to trust his brother's intentions in that way, or unable to trust trust that his brother's reaction to him leaving, something like that, right? Because I guess in the end, it's like if he thought his brother would be unhappy with him leaving, then in some sense you could say that that wasn't him trusting his brother enough to think that he always just had his best interest at heart, right? Maybe that's going too far, but I don't know. It's interesting to think about, right? So I decided to trust her words. She swore she would defeat the Devil King, and I chose to believe her. Trust her words, absolutely. We gotta trust her. No, it's really is it's interesting because it really cuts through Furin's thing. If you just believe what she says and ignore a lot of the other ways she acts, and yeah, that makes sense. And she got it. She got it. Rip the Chaos Flower. And then Stark and Furin wake up in the middle of the woods alone. That would be kind of scary, honestly. Like, I don't know. I don't know what I would think. But we got the village all figured out. Sign gets his Sign gets to talk to an older lady. I'm very proud of you. Very happy for you. The moment I woke up, I knew it was the kind that reflects magic. Of course, of course. She's very experienced. She's very experienced. So, we arrive at Vorig. Or is it Vorig? I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I'm going to put it into Google Translate. How's that sound? Previous. Past. Last. Interesting. It gives me several potential translations from German. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, okay. I don't know what to make of that. I have no idea. I have no idea. And people told me that the German words in this show are always like very like weird. And it's like, like no one would name their kids Stark, but sure. 29 years after the death of Himmel the Hero at the fortress city of Vorig, located in the northern lands. We are getting there. It is a long journey. It took 10 years the first time. They're almost out of money. How do we get money normally? Have we had to get money before? I don't even remember. I remember the last time we had to worry about money. But here's God, I forget his name. But here's this guy. Looking at Stark, sees his dead son in him, of course. Very depressing in a way. And he really does look like Stark's father so much, right? It's very interesting for both of them. He looks so much like Stark's father, and Stark looks so much like his son, and for both of them, I think that's very, very meaningful, right? I love the face. I love that face in this show that they make characters do. So we head to the mansion. Orden, that's his name. That's his name. I really want to Google Translate that one too. I'm curious. What do you think that one means? It's gonna be something stupid. Order. Yeah, I guess I could have guessed that one. I suppose I could have guessed that one. Oh, there we go. So it's the mansion of the Orden family, one of the 3 great families of the Northern Lands. I wonder if that's going to come back up. Maybe. Frieren knows his grandfather, of course. Of course. He just ignores Frieren. Do you need your mommy's permission to have a conversation? So, the request he has for us, we gotta take it because we need this money. We really spend 3 months here, which is crazy. But yeah, so the family line here originated from Stark's village. He looks away. It really makes me think, like, Stark doesn't have good memories of his village, right? Obviously. I feel like, I wonder if he's ashamed to be from there. I don't think that's it. I think more so, too, it's he thinks he is like he has this sense of inferiority that stems back to that village, right? So other people knowing he's from that village, like I almost feel like he thinks he's bringing some kind of shame on the village by being from there, you know? Because I imagine like when he thinks about the village, he probably is just like transported back in time basically to that same mindset that he was like raised on, you know, that he's a terrible and not enough, you know. His eldest son Wirt, which honestly looks more like Stark's brother than him, but sure, I guess. My heir and hero of the city. He looks like you. So his son died. Wirt died in action, and no one knows about his death other than him, Gabble, and some of his most trusted men. So this is really sad. It's really sad, this whole situation, because it doesn't give Orden like the ability to like truly grieve and process and deal with his son's death, you know? It kind of really sucks, right? And in a sense, I mean, this is probably true for any time someone like very politically powerful like this dies. It always becomes such a bigger deal than like your own personal like feelings and like grievings about it, right? Like someone who's like related to them, you know? In this case, it's even worse because no one even knows he's dead. So like Orden can't even begin processing or grieving or dealing with it like at all because he has to pretend he's not even dead, you know? So that really sucks. It's like he's unable to. I don't know. Yeah, rough. So I think he really he has this connection to Stark. Like through Stark, they kind of I mean they're here for like 3 months or whatever. So I think he does end up forming a pretty deep connection with Stark in that time. And it's the it's like what we say at the end about him essentially becoming his son for him, you know. But it's like that just won't work, you know. And it's not like why this started is that either. It didn't start as like an excuse for him to not have to process with his son's death, but in a way that's almost like what it became, you know. I imagine that him being denied the opportunity to like actually deal with his son's death kind of made it worse, right? Like then when he actually deals with it, it's going to be really bad, you know. Kind of same with Frieren in a way. Frieren only realized her regret about her relationship with Himmel at the very end when he was dead, right? And that's kind of similar because it's like if he had realized it sooner, it wouldn't have been as bad. At least he wouldn't have been dead yet, right? It would have been easier to like deal with, right? And it's like for Orden here dealing with the death of his son Wirt, it's like uh his son died 3 months ago now, and he still hasn't even had the opportunity to start like grieving and dealing with that fact, you know. I feel like it's just gonna be harder and harder as more time goes on to deal with that fact, you know. So yeah, it's for the sake of the city, which is really sad, right? That his own son's death is being like used for that purpose, right? That even in death he can't like truly like rest in that way, you know. But it's like what he wanted apparently. So 10 straw gold coins, 3 meals a day plus snacks for a year, and we need a grimoire, of course, of course. What am I gonna do about this scar on my forehead? It's very interesting he brings that up, right? Like, I wonder what the scar really like means to him, you know? Um, I guess again, because of the way he took it from Eisen, you know, I think even the scar too, just like the idea of his village, in some way represents to him this idea of like not being enough and being too weak and not, like it's good for Stark in a way because it's interesting how it puts him in like this powerful position in society, right? It kind of puts him in like the place where like his brother was in, like in his village, right? Someone so respected and so powerful in a way. And obviously he's a fake, right? But hey, what is a fake anyway, you know? So I don't know. It's interesting, right? It's an honorable battle scar. So we got to learn some etiquette. It's like, why does he have to learn to ride a horse for a ball? Like, like what are we doing? And Fern and Frieren are just here eating donuts and cake and tea and fruit. They're having fun. Naturally, Stark has to learn how to read. Terrible. How can he do it? How could he do it? This is very cute. Very cute. Very nice. Hmm. No, you know what? I kind of like her saying that it doesn't suit him. Because I guess I agree. It doesn't have to suit everyone, right? This idea, this kind of like with this weird like nobility etiquette type thing, you know? I wonder if you could say that would like if Stark really thinks about that, if it would help his like self-image in a way, you know? This idea that it doesn't suit him, you know? Aren't I always telling you to call me father? I don't think he wants to do that, unfortunately. Hmm. Simply following my son's final wishes. He didn't look as much like him as you do, though. Yeah, a double. Yeah. I wonder, he says he can't says he I can't say I enjoy this. He kind of smiles as he says that. And I guess I agree with him. Because again, I feel like it just kind of is just drawing out this long process of dealing with his son's death that is just like rough, you know? Man. And here's his other son, Mutt. Moot? Mutt? I don't know. I don't know how to say it. But Stark, yeah, Stark thinks of him in relation to his father. He looks so much like his father, right? He literally has the same, like, man, a rough, like, Jesus. But he shows to be my heir, but he shows little improvement. Yeah, thinks of himself. In relation to that, skill with a sword affects one's posture. I'll teach you the Orden family technique. And holding a sword again, it's like Stark has to be transported back in time to that same moment in a way, you know? Man. Hmm. And like in a way, through with Lord Orden, what do you think of Mutt? He doesn't have his brother's talent, and Stark thinks it's like the same as him, right? But it shows he believes in him. You should tell that to Mutt. I do, and that's very nice. That's very nice, right? In a sense, I wonder how much closure on all of that Stark got just from that conversation, right? Just the idea that at least it's not happening again to that kid, you know. Fern has to learn etiquette too. She can't be eating two donuts at once. She's good at it. She's good at it. She's got it down. Frieren's just hanging out. I wonder if Frieren ever had to learn etiquette for like, going to a ball with Himmel or something. I could imagine it. I could imagine it. I feel like it really wouldn't fit her. I don't know. Maybe she could do it. Maybe she could do it. Somehow Fern falls down. How did she even do that? But we arrive at the ball. They're here. And they have a very nice, very cute dance. So many options for a thumbnail, huh? I don't even know what I would use. Looks so good. So good. Oh, it must be so, God, like him looking at this, it must be so bittersweet, because he just must be thinking, like, oh, it should be my son here right now, and instead it's not, right? It's just, oh, man, rough, rough. Very rough. And here's Frieren. I like her hair. It looks great. God, she has so much hair. She really does. Like, that is, man, that's crazy. Shall we dance as well? I'm going to eat cake. Of course, of course. Looks very good. Looks like some good cake, honestly, man. Got strawberries. It's like double layered. Man, I'd be down for it. I would be down for it. Not for this injury, I would have been in the Vanguard. He literally has the same injury as Stark's father, which is crazy, right? So much like him. So much like him. Hmm. Stark, you're an incredibly powerful warrior. If you'd like, I can't replace your son, of course, and he can't replace your father. He's not your father either. Yeah. But through this little relationship they both had, I think they both found some closure and some meaning in this in a way, I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting. The warrior village of the Klee region was destroyed by demons. I assume they're all dead, right? My son and I parted in anger. We got into an argument over something trivial. And it's like through this relationship with Stark, it's like it's like he felt like, I assume, he got to make up for this a little bit. But the sad thing is, he didn't. He didn't get to, because this isn't his son. So it's like he still has to emotionally process that, right? And I really wonder if in the long run this made that harder or easier. It's like he told his son he never wanted to see his face again. Then he sees Stark, who looks so much like him. Literally sees his face again. All the more reason I can't stay here. Yeah. I said something I didn't mean to the man who raised me. And I'm so glad he thinks of Eisen as the one who raised him instead of his father in that way, you know? That's very good. Cause yeah, that's what really counts, right? Hmm. And we gotta pick out the grimoire. Frieren takes a while. He's out there training his son. At the very least, we don't have to worry about his heir. Exactly, exactly. For like, what is this reading posture? Like you sit down on the ground and like curl up in a ball and like lean over the book. It seems like that can't be good for like your back or like anything. Honestly, that just can't be right. And that's the end. That was a good episode. That was a good one. Um, I guess that's it. I always feel like I want to talk about more, but I suppose that's it. So please, if you enjoy my videos, subscribe, leave a comment, tell me what you think, and I will see you in the next one.